Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Edo here, and across the table is...
HuMei.
Okay then, and what we're doing is we're going to be doing a different type of video. Normally we do game playthroughs and whatnot, and since HuMei over here is a collector's maniac, especially when it comes to the X-Wing minis game, we thought we'd go over some builds and whatnot. I, being a complete novice, I'm going to play the bumbling idiot. I'm going to ask you a whole bunch of questions and whatnot, and then what you're going to do is we're just going to go over, see how this build is, and what you can do with it, how much it's going to cost you, what can you do with it, and all that kind of thing. So, what we're starting out is what kind of build, I think everyone at home can probably see what kind of ships these are, but for the uninitiated, what exactly are these?
These are Y-Wings. The first time they were shown in the movies was in Star Wars A New Hope. This was one of the ships they used to go after the first Death Star.
Okay then, and particularly why did you choose Y-Wings for a build here?
Okay, in the Star Wars universe and in this game, the Y-Wings are a bomber. They've got good armor. Not great, but for a fighter craft, they got pretty good armor.
So what are the stats down here? They're going for firepower, right?
Yes, 2 points of firepower with their main gun. This would be like if you're going in with an F-16 or an F-18, what kind of guns do they actually have on?
Okay, and then it's going with, what is that, evasion of one, isn't it?
One. They're not. Evasion shows just how maneuverable the ship is. Can it avoid getting shot at?
And then you got 5 hull, which is about how much damage
the hull can take
before it goes bye-bye. And then you got 3 shields, which means that you can take 8 points of damage basically until you pretty much go. But as I can see, these aren't normal Y-Wings, are they? These aren't ones you get out of the little packs you can buy off the rack. They are?
Yes.
I thought these were the the Scum and Villainy ones.
The Scum and Villainy ones will actually have a reddish paint job to them.
Oh.
But due to cost and a few other things, I end up getting 4 of these. I do have 2 red ones, but I don't use them very often. I like to have my ships match up, and I usually use a build of 4. Well, for the cost, it was cheaper to get 4 of these. But I do have the Scum and Villainy cards. I had to buy the sets to get the cards. Every ship you use, you have to have all the cards on display. So even though I've got 4 ships, I'm only showing 3 cards here. Technically, I have 4 of each of these 3 cards for each of these ships. I'm using the exact same build. And part of the reason why I wanted to go with this particular build for this episode was it's a very simple build. My very first game that I played tournament with this, I won the local store tournament with it. I had never played before. It's that simple a build.
Well, you said you hadn't played it. No, you hadn't played before, but you hadn't played in a tournament.
In a tournament, right.
Yes, because I still have some wounds from the very first time that HuMei and I played. He just, literally, using this build, I couldn't do anything, and I've been forever scarred because of that. So what you're doing is you're doing 4 ships, and then each of them are going to be identical. Then this particular card right here is not the usual Y-Wing.
No, that's right.
That's the Scum and Villainy one, right? Okay, and you can get that out of what pack? It's the Scum and Villainy pack, right?
Okay, this is out of, yes, it's the Most Wanted pack. That's what it's called, Most Wanted. You can't really tell here, but if you get a look, or if you get a close look.
Now, what I'll do is I'll put a scan up on this screen here.
You'll see a little symbol here. It looks like some sort of elephant with long tusks, or the skeleton thereof for the head. That's Scum and Villainy. Rebel, you'll know the little red arrow, up arrow, and the Empire, you'll know their symbol. But Scum and Villainy has that. And you're going to want to know that basically because you can't mix ships from you can't mix Rebel and Scum and Villainy. However, when you get into the game, you find out that some of the ships can be either or. So like I can have a Y-Wing that's either Rebellion or Scum and Villainy. But if one of my ships is Scum and Villainy, all of them have to be Scum and Villainy.
Okay. So what it is that, you're going to be using the Syndicate Thug Y-Wing. You're also using Twin Laser Turret. And which one can you get this one out of?
That one comes out of the K-Wing.
Okay. And then you got the BT Bacon Lettuce Tomato A4Y Wing something or other, and a partridge in a pear tree. So, okay. So what is this particular one out of?
Okay, the BTL A4 is out of the most wanted pack as well. You get 2 of those in the Scum and or in the most wanted pack. So in order to get enough cards to do 4 ships, you would need 2 most wanted packs.
Okay, so you're gonna get 2 of the Y-wings out of one of the most wanted packs.
No,
right?
you get
Oh.
you get 1 red Y-wing, but you get 2 BTL A4
Y-wing
Y-wing cards. The idea is, if you buy the box, you get 1 Y-wing, but you get enough stuff to do a second Y-wing. So if you buy just a single Y-wing, you can then balance out your fleet. When Scum and Villainy came out, there was already Rebel and Empire out for a good couple of years. And instead of having somebody that had bought a lot of ships, having to go out and buy all over again everything, this way they could save a little bit of money and use some of their ships for the other side.
Okay, so let's see what a couple of these things do. It says this one doesn't have an effect. It's just a basic Y-wing,
Right.
pretty much there. And then you're going with twin laser turret here. Attack. Perform this attack twice, even against a ship outside your firing arc. Each time this attack hits, the defender suffers 1 damage. Then cancel all dice results. Then we're going with bacon, lettuce, and tomato. Y-wing here. Y-wing only. Title: You cannot attack ships outside your firing arc. After you perform a primary weapon attack, you may immediately perform an attack with a turret secondary weapon, or
Right.
just... Okay then. So, now we've introduced all these particular cards. What is this particular build supposed to do?
Okay, it's actually, like I say, it's very simple. That's what I go with. A very simple build. It works for me very well. As your Y-wing comes in, if you can see, I'll pull this up a little closer, you'll see there are 2 yellow lines coming out to the corner. That's your firing arc. Anything inside of that is your firing arc. So, what we have is, normally on a Y-wing, a turret weapon can fire 360 degrees. That means anything around it, it can shoot at. And with the twin laser turret, that's very effective. But what if you can get 1 more shot in? This is where the BTL A4 comes in. To step back on the twin laser turret, the way the twin laser turret works, I roll 3 attack dice. Anything that's in range 2 or 3 of me, I roll 3 attack dice. If 1 hit or 3 hit, I only get 1 point of damage on my opponent. But then I get to roll again, and if I do that a second time, I can get 2 hits on him.
Okay, so with that particular...
That's
now it
just
said
this
roll
card.
it and cancel all results. Can they still evade that?
If they can evade whatever I've rolled.
Okay.
If I roll 3 dice, and I roll 3 hits, and you evade 3 hits, you've still evaded.
Okay, so
But-
let's say you roll 3 hits and I only evade once. Are you still only doing 1 damage?
I'm only doing 1 damage.
Okay.
Even though I've got 2 hits, I only get recorded as 1 hit. But then, like I say, with twin laser turret, you get to do that a second time.
Oh,
So I could get 2 hits from 2 different shots.
Okay, so in other words, the whole goal is here, instead of rolling 2 dice normally,
Right.
you're going to be rolling 3 dice. In other words,
Right.
more dice to
Right.
get at least a single point of damage. And both you and I know your luck and my luck with dice rolls.
Yes.
So the more dice you want,
That's the reason why
better.
I don't win very often, is because I have the world's worst luck on dice.
Okay, so
But that's using
yeah.
just the twin laser turret. Now, the BTL A4 Y-Wing is a very special card. It can only be used with the Y-Wing. But what it does is, where I was showing the firing arc earlier, if you're with your primary weapon, you can only fire out that arc. So if I was coming up behind this Y-Wing, and I'm anywhere where this line comes across my the square that this is on, if it comes across any on that base, it counts as being able to hit it. So what happens is I come in and I fire my 2 dice, and I may or may not hit him with my primary weapon. With the BTL A4, I could do that, or I could choose with a regular, just this setup, these 2 cards. I could either do that or go for a 360 and do the twin laser turret. Well, right now you're thinking your best chance of getting a hit is with the twin laser turret. But with the BTL A4 Y-Wing, what it does is it says that turret can no longer spin. It's pointing out the front just like my regular weapons. So what I can do is I can now shoot with the 2 shots, or the 2 dice, with my primary weapon. Then, after that's done, I go and I can, as long as it's still within that firing arc, I can now fire the BTL, or the twin laser turret, out the firing arc, just like I did the first one, twice, which gives me now 3 times I'm shooting at the other Y-wing.
Or at least whatever the other,
whatever
the
ship
target
is.
So the whole goal is basically you're trying to get off 12 shots a turn and take some, preferably just hammering, I guess, the same, let's just say, pull this out, just the same TIE fighter, or whatever it may be, whatever your main target is. So what is the whole... Specifically, what should you be doing when the game starts off and whatnot, as you're,
Okay, well, here's the thing. The secret to this, or part of the secret to this build is, now that I went over the cards, you're only getting 3 shots with each ship. Well, how do you maximize that? What you do is, in your starting area, you actually start out within firing range 1 of the edge of the board. This is firing range 1. To go for an example, let's say that right here at the base, this is the back of my map. Well, I can put 1 ship here, and then I can take the other one and move it up to the line in the front, and you want to center the middle of this ship down between the next ship over.
So why would you want to do that?
Well, in doing 4 ships like that, I have overlap of my firing areas. Hand me that X-Wing, or that TIE fighter.
Okay, who is this going to be? This is Omega Squip Pilot.
Okay. Now what happens is, he's coming rolling in shooting at me, and he's going to get off 2 dice, and that's it. He's doing his primary weapon, he gets 2 shots. Okay. Now, because of his position, where my overlap is on this outer ship, he's definitely in my field of fire there. This back ship, he's in his field of fire, and the other 2 just as well. So what happens is, this ship gets to now fire his primary weapon at 2 shots. Then he does his twin laser turret, 2 more shots, or 2 dice, and then 2, or rolls 3 dice once, then a second time. So he's getting 3 separate dice rolls, 1 of 2 and 2 of 3 on him. Then this one's going to do the same thing, which now gives me 6 separate dice rolls. This one gives me 9, this one gives me 12. If every one of them gets a hit, I've done 12 points of damage. Most ships, up into even the large ships, 12 dice can basically wipe it out.
However,
my dice rolls. But generally speaking, for somebody new, it's a great way to get, you're doing massive damage. You're getting as many dice rolls as possible on the opponent's ship. And if you've got, say, 5 or 6 TIE fighters out here, what you would do is, don't worry about all of them. Don't even think about them. Pick out 1. I try to get one that's as close to centered up in the middle as I can, and I concentrate all of that fire on that one. It's like a dog on a piece of meat. Do not let go of the one. If they were, let's just say it was 4 TIE fighters. Using that as an example, we got 4.
Well, we got 3 out here right now, but let's just say that.
Okay, well, let's say 3. If I use all 4 of mine and concentrate their fire to take 1 ship out, I have just cost him 1/3 of his fighting capability. If all his ships take out 1 of mine, that's 1/4 of my fighting ability. However, most ships, especially the smaller ships like these, don't have as much hull value and shields as I have. There's what I'm using. I'm going to use those shields. I come in on my first shot, and I'll come in from the other side, come straight across. I'll engage them as quick as I can, throw all my firepower on. Now, once that first turn is over, even if I haven't hit this guy, I can do what's called a Corrigan turn or a K turn. A K turn is you take the, where is it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you take this strip, and there are 2 little notches in the front of the ship, right here. This goes between them, and that's how I'm maneuvering. A 4K is I'm going straight, but instead of at the other end continuing on, I basically turn around. When I do this, I take a stress because it's very hard for my pilot to make that turn.
And that's more in depth of the rules
Right.
itself. So,
But what it does is when I do that, I now have all 4 of these ships coming back the other way, and he's trying to turn away or do another K-turn back into me. It sets me up for my next shot. If you have to go away from the K-turn in any turn you're making, or if you see the other guys turning in and you can do it, what you want to do is try and put yourself, once you get in behind him, wherever his ship is this turn is where you want to be next turn. Because if he moves a certain distance and you, the next turn you come up right where he was sitting and he's moved further ahead, he's still in your fire. You can still shoot at him.
so even if he's also turned, let's say turned off, let's move these 2 out of the way here. So if you've gotten behind him, and then he even turns out this way, let's just say that your whole squad's over here, it's still going to be within the firing arc.
Right, he's still going to be in my firing arc. And if I stay right where he, say he had been right here, and he started to make this turn, and at the end of our movement, he's already turned there. I still got him in my firing arc. And the best part is, next turn, I can make the exact same turn he just made.
And probably he's
and
still
be right where he's at now. And next turn, he's only moving this hit, whatever his distance is. He's still going to be in my firing range. I want to be behind him. I want to keep him, like I say, a dog on a piece of meat. You're not letting go. When he's gone, pick out one more ship. Don't worry about which one it is. Pick out one ship and just keep on him.
Okay then, so let's say the game's starting out here. You've got your build, and we've got our build over here. Let's just imagine that these are different types of ships and whatnot. So, how should you choose your target? Should it be the fastest? Should it be the biggest? Should it be the tastiest looking? Since we're going with the meat type of
it depends.
theme.
It depends on who you're going against. That can have a lot to say with it. But generally, for me, with this build, who's in front? It's that simple. If I've got Darth Vader in there, I'm getting Darth Vader. If I've got a TIE fighter with nothing on him, and he's not much of anything to shoot at,
But he's still up in front.
he's still up in front, I'm taking him out. Because however many points it costs to put that ship on the field, as soon as he's gone, those are my points. It doesn't have to be the biggest. If the guy's got a lot of points out there, a bunch of ships out there, and they're all small points, fine. Each one I take is more points towards my winning. And at the end of the game, that's what counts, the points. So if these are all 12 or 10 or 12 points each, fine. I'll take out 30-some points. If they're 100 points, well, I take out one, and that's 33 points. And then I'll take out the next one for 33 points. Because at the end of the game, I may not waste everything he's got. It's all based on the time. You've got an hour to play. So I'm going for as many, or actually I think it's 75 minutes of play. But still, my objective is to try and get as many points on my side as possible. So that's why I say you get a hold of one ship and blow it away. Whatever else is coming in, because you're dealing with, to give you an example of how many points we're talking about with my armor and whatnot, I've got 5 hull, which you have to blow up to destroy, and I've got 3 shields for a total of 8. Over here on this TIE fighter, we're looking at 3 hull and 1 shield.
Or this one over here, for example, this is, I believe, an older one which has no shields. It just has 3
3
hull.
points. So, if while I'm trying to hit him, or while I'm taking him out, because on the first turn I'm probably going to take 1 out, I do a total of 4 points. Well, mind you, I've got 12 shots going off. All I need is 4 hits, and he's dead. Now, that takes him out. That's 1/3 of his points gone. If he's hitting me with every ship he's got, 2 hits, 2 hits, 2 hits, that's 6. He still hasn't dropped 1 of mine.
Okay,
So I'm using my hull to defend myself real good. The bad news with the Y-wing is it's not very maneuverable.
Okay, and you're getting 1 of 8, but just like most other ships, it can do either 1, 2, or 3s. K turns. Apparently, that's dependent on the card here. It can be the K turn, right?
Well, the K turn is the Y-wing can do it at a 4. There are some newer maneuvers for some of the newer ships where you start getting what they call S turns and Talon turns and all of those, but those go with your actual turns. They're ways that your ship comes out of that different. But yeah, for a basic build, somebody that's thinking, I want to get in and learn the game. It's a little more expensive getting this stuff because, like I say, you got to get 2 most wanted packs, 2 K wings to play with, and then 2 additional Y wings to have enough Y wings to do this build. But if that's what you want, this is a good. And the best part is, once you've learned this, you don't have to buy a lot more stuff to have a good tournament. At least for a store tournament, this is not a bad store tournament build. You don't have to buy anything else.
Okay, this is a basic, simple build. Now, we're talking about that most wanted packs are roughly 30-ish, aren't they?
I think they're running about $29 each.
Okay, so let's round that up to 30. You said you need, you need
two of those.
So it's going to be 60.
Right.
2 K-wing packs are
K-wings are running $20 a piece, so there you just spent $100.
Now, and then you need, what, 2 more Y-wings?
2 more Y-wings, that's $15 each. So you're talking $130 for this build. I'm the first one to tell you, if you're trying to start it out fresh, and don't spend all that right away. You can, with just the Y-wings, well, when you buy the game, the base box set with all the other stuff you need is going to run you about $40.
That's the newer version, correct? Now the one
Either
based
one.
on
Either one. They're both the same price, but you get 1 X-wing and you get 2 TIE fighters. That's just Rebel and Empire. But I'll also tell you this: when you're playing that, you're going to get about 50 points worth of playability. A tournament is 100 points, so you're going to have to get more than that anyhow for a tournament. I always suggest everybody to get. I definitely suggest get the base box set so that you can learn 50-point play.
Well, you get the rules, and then you're going to get all your dials, and you're
Right.
going to get all the measurements and dice, and so then one way or the other, you're going to have to get that.
Right. But when you're done, after you've done that and you've learned the game, if you get these, it'll give you a lot of good play time that you can use over and over again. And then all the other ships you want to get, if you want to get more TIE fighters, if you want to get the Millennium Falcon, anything like that you want to get, fine. You'll have those, and you can then learn those ships as you play them and build on. This is to give you, this is a good basic set to get you in the field on a tournament for just your local store. I would never suggest going to World Tournament with this. I would never suggest going to regionals with this build. But for a local store, you're just getting around with some friends, playing, and maybe get a little store credit or something going on, yeah, this is perfectly fine. And you generally won't have to be worried about being humiliated because you didn't do squat, unless you're me and my dice rolls.
Okay, we talked about how, the main strength of this build is you're getting up to 12 shots turn.
Right.
And probably that's what each of them is getting. That's going to be 8 dice each, right? Two regular, 3 and 3, 8. So potentially you could be doing 20, 30 points of damage a turn to something.
No. You get 2 points that you can do with the first shot.
Oh, that's right.
And the 2 sets of 3, you only get one each, so you're talking 4. But still, that's 16 points of damage you could be doing. The Decimator has no evasion. It has 12 points of hull and
something like that,
and 4 or 5 shields. You could almost take out a Decimator, which is one of the heaviest hulled, or is the heaviest hulled ship
in one
turn. You could just about do that in one turn. You're going to some real good luck to do it, but you could almost do that. I think it's actually just a couple points more than that. But by the end of the second turn, he could be dead. And the Decimator is a major player in a tournament because it uses a lot of points. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head at all.
But let's just say they have a Decimator, and they just have 2 ties. You take out the Decimator in turn 2.
Yeah, and then you're just mopping up 1 ties.
Okay, then so we talked about, so the strength of this is the number of shots and the amount of potential damage you can do in a single turn. Now, you said one of the disadvantages is that they're not very maneuverable.
Right.
Evasion is not your friend.
Right.
Okay, so you want to get yourself in a situation that you, and probably just like most builds, if possible, you want to get behind enemies
Right.
Correct? Okay, so let's say somehow, and I'm going to take all these moving over here. Let's say somehow they get in behind you. What are you supposed to do?
Okay, for this...
Especially because, once again, they're not maneuverable.
Right.
So what you gonna do if they somehow get around like this or something like that, where you say, I totally messed up in my preparations.
Happens all the time.
And they did the Z turn and immediately right behind you. There's no Z turn. But but let's just make that up. Just say, hey, they just got around you and you're like, I am not doing so well.
Okay. In this, with this scenario...
Well, not this particular one.
Right,
but
I'm saying using this as a scenario. The beauty of this scenario for me is I can't shoot at him this turn. But I've got all that damage I can take so he can hit me. Again, all three of those ships is not going to take out one of my Y-wings unless it's been shot up pretty heavy already. And if that's the case, I'm figuring on losing.
6, so yeah.
But what I do is I take these 4 ships.
Yes.
I do my K turn, which now puts them, it would be off screen. But basically, let's do this. I'm going to slide it back like we had...
Yeah, and I just don't know if it'll be on the camera there because...
I think I got it. Yeah, I can see where
so
my
let's
hand
just
is.
do it that way. So,
We'll say they're here. Now, my Y-wings are right here, and they're up behind my Y-wings. Okay, next turn, if he's playing it smart, what he's going to do is, remember what I said about you want to be where the other guy was last time? He's going to try and get his ships right here because he knows I'll be in his firing arc wherever I am. I turn around and I do my 4K turn.
And then you're just going to flip around and he's going to be right in front of you.
And, yep, I do not get any extra actions and whatnot because I now have stress for doing this.
So,
but long story cut short, now I've got all of my ships
ready to fire at where he's going to be.
Because I'm pointing right where I used to was. Right where I used to be is where he is going to be this turn.
Okay, now you talked about when you're stressed there. Can you use any of these cards when you're stressed? This one
the twin laser turret you can still use. The BTLY wing 4, that's fine. What you cannot do is acquire a target lock or
a focus
something
like that.
Or an evade. I can't pick up anything like that
until
I get rid of the stress.
Okay.
And stress is easy. All you do is your speeds on your maneuver dial. There are 3 colors. There is red, which means you're picking up stress, which your K-turn will do. A white, you do not pick up or reduce any stress. Your pilot's basically just doing what he can to fly. Red is he's all stressed out making that turn. White, it's all he can. Green is he's relaxed. This is an easy thing to do, so he just loses his stress, and now he's able to start picking up target locks and things like that again.
Okay then, so basically, if somehow the enemy gets behind you, and I think it's a foregone conclusion about that you don't want to be behind your enemy because you generally can't fire at them.
Well, you want to be behind your enemy, but you don't want your enemy to be behind you.
Exactly. Okay. Right. Yeah. Sorry. You want to make sure that you're no longer in front of them with your backside showing. So the best thing to do is going to do a K turn on that. That way, if, like you said, if they're going to be smart and they want to be in the same place that you were, they'll be basically right here. That way you're going to lay waste to them, hopefully, depending on your dice rolls.
Well, they won't actually be that close.
I know, but just let's just say,
because one of the things is, with this build, see how my ranges are? 1, this would be 2, 3. Basically short, medium, and long range. If he's inside short range, I cannot use the twin laser turret because it's too close.
Okay.
But if he's in range 2 or 3, I've got him. Now, if he is in range 1, okay, so I'll take my little two dice and I'll roll them. And at that range, I get an additional die, so I get 3 dice at that range, which is not bad. But it's just not you're getting that big bonus, right?
So, when you're moving, now do you always want to stay in this formation?
I try to. There's a reason why I use this specific formation. This is a squad formation. If your ships are, as I kind of show you, want your 2 here where there's enough room, not for this one to squeeze in between. He's behind and centered up. And then this one would be kind of like centered up between these 2 behind it. What you want, by having it like that, whenever you go to make a turn, if I'm making a 1 sharp turn with this ship, I can do that with all the rest of them, and their bases will not overlap, so they don't hit each other. If I make a too wide turn, because there's enough distance between the bases, I'll be able to bring them out, and again, they won't hit each other. You don't want to be hitting your own base, because if you do, that's basically saying your ship's on top of the other ship, and you do not get your actions.
So you get stressed, don't you, or something?
Well, you don't get stressed, but you get denied your action because you're in base-to-base contact, which means that you cannot get a target lock. What a target lock does, I'm rolling my 2 dice on this guy, and I've got a target lock. If I miss completely, I can re-roll those 2 die. What I tend to do, though, is even if I miss with the 2, I don't worry about that. As long as I can get the shot with the twin laser turret, that's where I worry about my target locks, because I can get 2 more shots there. If you can't get focuses. Focuses can, if you roll focuses and you've chosen a focus, you can turn all those to hits, or you can turn them into evades. Each one of the tokens gives something very special, and that's almost a different show there for that. But yeah, you don't want to be in the base to base if at all possible. And like I say, if you were making to use this a straight maneuver, you're right here. If you're making a bank, your ship's going to be turned like this. And again, you can see how your bases would still be clear of each other. If you're making a hard turn, your ship's going to come like so, come out. And again, you're going to be right there. If you're up close, and I found this with a lot of these, when you're one right behind the other, you make that come out in a bank, your bases will be hitting at the corner. Well, when you hit the corner, that means you're in base to base, and your back ship is not getting, neither ship is getting an action, and you don't want that. You want to be able to get those actions in because they improve your hit.
Okay, so now you just said that the whole goal is to have them within 2 to 3.
Yeah, range
the ships 2 to 3, because that way you get the maximum of 3 shots.
Right.
So, is it better to not go full out speed at the beginning of the game, or do you want to sort of let them come to you?
I generally will move about a speed 3. Yes, I can go 4. The question is, well, the first thing is, I'm going to say this, with these particular ships, their pilot skill is 2. They're the last to move.
Last to move and last to shoot, right?
Last to move, or no, they're the first to move, last to shoot. So I move in, and if I only move 3, I'm getting myself a little over a third of the way across the board. This gives them a chance to get in there, and maybe I can get that shot first time. Odds are I won't. Generally, I don't see that happen. But come the second turn, I can now see how, by the first turn, I can see how he's shooting out, if he's hauling butt or whatever. And I can adjust my second turn to try and, okay, he's coming out real fast. I want to slow down more so I can get him in my sight.
2 to 3. Now, with the 2 to 3, have you seen that, once again, if they're in range 3, they get an extra evade die?
Right.
So, have you seen that make a lot of difference in this, if they're staying at range 3 via 2 or anything like that?
With this build, generally no, because first of all, that extra evade dice, it does count for the primary weapon, the 2 shots,
okay.
But the twin laser turret, it does not. That is a secondary weapon. Secondary weapons do not get the evade. Secondary weapons also do not get the bonus attack die in range 1.
So if you're firing a secondary weapon at him, he won't get the bonus for being at 3.
That's right.
And then but if you were, let's just say, for example, if it could be used at range 1, I know it can't, but let's just say that you wouldn't get that bonus either.
Right.
Oh wow! I did not know that.
Now it does. You do get the bonus for the primary weapon, not
The secondary one.
Right. So my twin laser turrets, it doesn't hurt or help at all.
Oh, okay. Well, then there are nothing but pluses to that. Well, the minus to it is that you can only do 1 damage.
Right.
But it cancels out that extra evasion of especially the TIE fighters, because if they're rolling 4 dice to evade at range 3,
right.
And once again, let's talk about our dice rolls, where they just tend to evade everything.
I'm the only guy that I've ever seen through 3 separate games in a tournament. I did not roll a single hit through any of them. We're talking 12 dice or 12 rolls of 8 dice each, 8 or 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, and not get a single hit. I have done that. I had a tournament where I did that. And it doesn't take long for me to eventually lose because I still have a limit to how much hull and shields I have. I've had that happen. That's one of the biggest jokes in here is my dice rolls.
So what is the Y-Wing's worst enemy when it comes to the game, like ship-wise? Or a build, what does this particular build or Y-Wings in general have problems going up against?
Anything that has a lot of evade, because there are certain ships, I like to call them dancers. There's the Predator and a couple others like that. They're very, very maneuverable. Usually in the when we first come out, I can engage. Then what I find myself having is, say this turn, I'll have him in my sights. Next turn, he's able to somehow get behind me because they've got a lot of ability to do twists and turns in the same flight. I make one move and they're turning and doing a boost over here and a barrel roll there, and now they're behind me. So all I can hope to do is book out or continue on and do my K turn and get in to where he's still coming in, and I've still got him in front of me. That has happened, and it's where every other turn I'm hitting him. But again, if I'm lucky, and if I just get a decent die roll, every other turn I'm going to start taking his stuff out. Generally, I don't find too much wrong with this, except for and that's just dice rolls. Anybody knows a die game, dice can totally, well, that's what's happened to me.
It's RNG.
Yeah.
So, conversely, things that are slow are probably good, and let's just throw dice types of rolls. Generally, it's going to get pummeled by this. Let's say Decimator. You go, and you're just going to take it out in probably 2 turns.
Yes. Odds are you're going to take that out in 2 turns.
So do you have problems with TIE Fighters? Normally?
TIE Fighters, not so much, because TIE Fighters are only 3 to 4 points to take it out.
Okay, but
So
we're talking about the evade. The evade portion.
The evade, not so much. They get 3 evade, so yeah. To put it this way, he's getting 3 evade dice. I roll my 2 die. He's rolling 3 to evade. Okay, no problem. He's probably getting past that one. But the next 2 turns, it's basically even up. He rolls 3 evade, I roll 3 hits. Odds are one of those 2 I'm going to get a hit on him. And even if it's only 1 hit, if I get 1 hit per ship, that's 4 ships, that's 4 points, and he's the new one is only 4 points and he's done. So that's generally the way I find it works. And I'll also say this, your evade dice do not have as many evades on them as your hit dice have hits on them.
Just gives you more of a chance. Okay,
Right.
So just to sort of recap on this particular build now, lots of hits.
Lots of hits.
And the whole goal is to stay on just one enemy. You said, well, you know what, maybe this turn, this guy's only down to like 1 hit or whatnot. And maybe I should concentrate on with like 2 of mine to go over here. You don't want to do that. You want to keep pummeling until it's dead.
Until it's gone. And usually what happens is, especially with the TIE Fighters and a lot of these squad builds, once he comes in and you waste him, the other guy's going to bring his other ships in as well with him in a squad, hoping to get those 3 shots off on you. And yes, since he's firing before me because I'm such a low pilot skill, he's going to do that. That helps to ensure he brings it in. So I get my guys, and the first thing I do is I waste the guy that's lowest points. Then I go for whichever target looks most attractive next that I think I can keep in mind. I might go after, in this setup, say he's the one I got down to 1 point. I'll waste him. Then as to which one of these 2 I'm going for next, that doesn't really matter except for which one has the most points already down. Maybe the other one took a hit somewhere else. Fine. I might go for him. Then again, I might go for this one if he's got the lowest points. But in this situation, all 4 of my ships could hit either one of these 2 ships. Or either one of the 2 TIE Fighters. Hence, pick one. If you don't kill him this turn, fine. Remember which one he is, and next turn you come in and hit him again.
Okay, so difficulty scale 1 to 10 of playing this particular build.
I'm going to say a difficulty of 2 if 10 is the hardest.
Yes, 10 will be the hardest. 1 is going to be...
I'm going to say 1 to 2. And the only reason why I give it the 2 is because there's always that chance that you're going to just slip your mind and do something stupid. I do it myself.
It's just
But it's that easy.
There's not a lot of tactics involved.
Right.
There's not a lot of card actions involved
Right.
or anything. It is very straightforward. Maybe
Right.
that's the best thing I should have said.
Yeah.
How straightforward is it? And still, as 1 or a 2, even for a complete dolt like me when
Yep.
it comes to this game, I can see how it's just, basically fly to that guy, shoot him until he's gone, then turn around and do that other and destroy
Right.
that other guy. So let's say local tournament wise.
Right.
1 ineffective, 10 very, very effective. What would you give that?
Well, as long as your dice rolls are average,
Yes.
I'm going to give it a better than an 8 or a 9. Like I say, my very first game, I went in with those kind of rolls, and I literally wiped everybody out that I was brought up against.
But
and
you were
didn't
playing
use-
a different build at that time, weren't you? You had ion cannons or something,
Right,
didn't you?
the twin laser turret hadn't come out, but the twin laser turret is better than the ion cannon. It does just a little bit more damage, whereas the ion cannon slows the guy down. Like I say, it wasn't around. This is a much better build in that it's putting that extra little bit of damage out. But yeah, I'm going to say this: as long as your dice rolls are good,
Or you're at least average.
right, or average, you're going to do a lot of damage. The first game I played, just using that as an example, I did not lose a single ship through any of the games, and I wiped everybody out with time to spare. It's that good. It's just you've got to have some good roll. And Edo will tell you, I've got little things I say to my dice. I threaten my dice, whatever it takes.
And it still doesn't work.
Well, usually I don't think about it in time, but when I do, that's when the dice will change for me for 1, maybe 2 turns, and then I got to do it again.
Okay, so let's say bigger tournament. Why? Okay, let's say world tournament. One
I won't even go near
ineffective.
it. I will not go near it. All I can say is those guys really know this game inside and out. And I hope whoever's watching this, whoever you are, I hope you get into it to where you can do that. I love watching those guys play. I really do. I actually sit and I watch the tournaments.
Okay, let's
Because they
say,
impress me.
Let's say world tournament. Newbie has this.
Mm-hmm.
All the opponents have your luck with dice rolls.
Oh, then I got it. Yeah, that'd be easy.
And my
Newbie
luck
owned
with
it.
dice rolls.
If they had my dice rolls, or everybody else has got my dice rolls, you got this.
Okay. Okay, so that was our very first video on X-Wing Minis, little builds and whatnot. Hope you enjoyed watching it. Maybe get you involved in the game if you're just coming to the channel. So what the heck is X-Wing Minis? Maybe read a little bit more about it. I'll put like a link in the description or whatnot about.
And if anybody out there has questions about this, maybe you've got a certain ship you'd like to see demoed. I have every ship, at least one of every ship.
No,
they produce.
you have every ship.
One of every, at least one
I
of every
can't
one.
believe it. A collector like
yeah,
you.
Yeah, that's my thing. I'm a big collector. But if you have a ship you're not sure about, I admit there's some I don't know real well, but I have them. We have some good men here who really know this stuff, and I will be glad to talk to them and research the ship and pull it out there and use. I'm just a collector.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Because that's what one of the things that we wanted to do is that create a different type of video here. And once again, here at Neverland Games in beautiful, historic, wonderful downtown Hagerstown.
Yep.
There are a number of really good players of not only X-Wing, but also Armada are some players. And they'd like to get some... They'd like to increase the popularity of Armada a little bit more because arguably X-Wing is more popular.
More
I
popular
believe.
here.
At least, yes, at least here. So maybe we're going to do a number of different videos on this of different builds. Generally, it's going to be casual. If we say they're going to be a cutthroat build, then we will tell you far in advance in the video.
Yep.
But we'd like to go casual, introduce people to the different types of things that are available, and then maybe do some game videos like we normally do, face-offs, whatever it may be. So
I'll also say this: if you come in here and if you come in Neverland and you want to play, even the owner of the store will say, do not buy this stuff right away. Come on in, sit down with us. We will share what we have so that you can play. And then we'll help you to work out your first build that you may want for a tournament. Maybe you don't want something as simple. Maybe you've got the world's best dice. That may be possible. And you can hit everything, and you got something you'd like to say, well, we'll help you do that. We'll help you to figure out, because odds are, like I say, I've got every ship. So if you come in and say, I want to try the Star Viper, okay, I'll loan you my Star Viper, and you can sit there and practice with it and play with it. And if it's me in particular, and it's a tournament and you want to use my Star Viper, dude, you can use my Star Viper. I don't have a problem with that. You want to use my...
just give it back.
Yeah, just give it back when it's done, because I collect.
Yes,
I collect.
you're borrowing it. So, once again, I hope you enjoyed this particular video here. If you want to see more X-Wing Minis, Armada, just commentary videos on the status of the game and all of that, feel free to subscribe, leave a like, a comment or 20. And once again, thanks for tuning in this morning, afternoon, evening, night, whenever you may be tuning in, and we hope you're looking forward to our next video in the future. So, once again, this was HuMei.
HuMei, yep.
And this is a guy who doesn't know much about what he's doing, Edo. So, we'll see you in the next video, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.